Well, if you're in a position like us, especially when I say us, I mean Jay and I, I'm starting Mitch Trubisky. He's starting Easton Stick.
It is.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
People in this league.
Oh, it's insanity.
It's a 12-team league with superflex, and people hoard quarterbacks like you would not believe. And then there's been so many quarterback injuries that, like Burrow, Cousins, Deshaun Watson, that have been out for the year. Aaron Rodgers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like I have Bailey Zappi and Joe Flacco on my team in this league, because I picked them up 3 weeks ago when they were backups, hoping they would get a shot. Like, that's how ugly and desperate it is.
They're not your stars, though.
No. I got Jalen Hurts and Sam Howell, future Hall of Famer Sam Howell, which is one of the reasons why I'm first in this league. It's like,
right, so Jay and Connor, would y'all feel better if y'all had guys like Tommy DeVito or Jake Browning on y'all rosters?
100%.
Then I feel good.
I can't get them. I can't win a claim. I tried for Jake Browning.
Right, you've done your work. Anyway, so this is how this all came up. Yesterday on the pre-show meeting, we were talking about, okay, there's probably people out there that are like us, that are like desperate sick human beings, but like that are in leagues where they, because of injuries, or they were riding Dobbs for a little while and he's lost his job, whatever. They need a quarterback this week. And the only thing that's really out there on the waiver wire are just kind of these, dregs of humanity, as it were, fantasy-wise, just fantasy-wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a commentary on Easton Stick's nature as a man in
No,
society.
and by all accounts, a lovely guy.
He looked like a lovely chap.
Lovely. I interviewed him like 6 years ago at the NFLPA Rookie Premiere.
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. So again, whatever, just the bottom of the barrel, if you will, purely from a fantasy perspective. And so we thought, let's do a bad quarterback draft. And so what we did is, before the show, very quickly, we came up with a draft order. And here's the draft pool. As you see it there, for people that are only listening to the audio, it's Gardner Minshew, Nick Mullins, who's starting for Minnesota, Easton Stick, Aiden O'Connell starting for the Raiders, Tommy DeVito, Bailey Zappi, Mitch Trubisky gets another start for Pittsburgh, Bryce Young, Zach Wilson, the hero from last week, Joe Flacco of the Browns, Desmond Reagor for Lawrence's Falcons, and of course Will Levis. So those 12 guys, we're going to draft 3 quarterbacks each for this week only. I believe the draft order is Jay, Lawrence, Connor, and then myself.
Close. Lawrence J.
Lawrence J.
Matthew.
This is why I don't host. It is Lawrence J. Connor, and then myself. You had the number 1 pick in our show league, and you finished last. We'll see how you do here today. We're going to do a snake draft. Bad quarterbacks. What do you got?
I'm hearing that while we've been taping, Aiden O'Connell is not guaranteed to start. It could be back to Jimmy G.
So he's still available in LA.
So don't draft Aiden O'Onnell here.
Look at Jay. He's trying to pick him up.
Go ahead, Jay. You know what? Knock yourself the hell out. I'm not even. You know what I'm gonna do? I've got a phone right here. I could try to beat you to the waiver wire, and you know what I'm doing? Not going close.
Yeah, Connor might get to it first.
My phone, and
Connor Rogers might get to it first.
Scary.
You guys knock yourselves out.
Who got them
I'll run the show while you two battle over Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, of course he's rostered.
In our league. That's fantastic.
I didn't realize Nick Mullins was available in LA. Mullins is I just picked him up. He's going to start for me.
You got him?
He might be my best player.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
I just tried, and
oh my God,
he's not available.
Congratulations.
Brutal.
All right. Well, you picked up Nick Mullins in our show league. You have a chance to draft him in our league right here. So here we go. I will figure out a prize here on for who wins this. Most total points from the 3 quarterbacks in week 1. Maybe they drink free next Wednesday.
This is my shot at redemption.
We're
starting
now.
I'm going to go with my favorite quarterback on this list, Zach Wilson. Let's go.
Oh, there it is. Zach Wilson off the board.
At Miami. Any reason why, other than just because Connor would take him?
I picked the Jets to win last week. I picked Zach Wilson to do well, and I think he might not do as well this week, but he's throwing the ball more and he's throwing it more accurately and better and all that good stuff. Give me Zach.
Well, I'm about to draft Nick Mullins twice in 40 seconds because hugely favorable matchup against the Bengals secondary.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson looks like he's going to play. Good O-line, just Jefferson, Hockenson, and Addison. I'll take my chances with that quarterback, so Nick Mullins.
All right, give me Will the Thrill Levis. He's got Houston. That defense has looked horrendous against bad quarterbacks this year. Levis is a madman. Maybe you get a rushing touchdown in here as well.
He's a crazy man.
Yep. All right. So now it's for me for 2 picks.
2 picks.
Well, come on. Tommy DeVito, come on! You tell me Luigi isn't going to take Tommy DeVito? Since week 11, he's actually the 15th best quarterback in fantasy, at least 17 fantasy points in 2 of the past 3. I want Tommy DeVito, and then coming back around, because sometimes it's about taking what the board will give you. Also because I know that I might be able to trade Desmond Reagor to Lawrence for a huge bounty. He's playing Carolina. I'm at QB 24 this week as well. Gets a little bit of rushing there as well. It was between him and Flacco for me at this spot, but I'm going to go with Desmond Reagor, partially to screw over Lawrence and partially because I do think he'll, he showed something last week fantasy-wise. He's had a bunch of top 10 finishes this year. Super weird.
It is a little bit.
Yeah, so you didn't screw me over because I was not going to pick Desmond Reagor.
It's not you.
It's not your
It's not
turn.
you. It's
Oh, my God. I'm
going
glad.
back around.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Connor.
I mean, don't worry.
Lawrence's first draft.
I'm not sniping you anyway. I'm going to take Mitch Trubisky because I have to do this in real life, so I need to convince myself that Trubisky is going to do something in fantasy this week. Trubisky's got the Colts. Colts have a bottom 5 scoring defense over the last 4 weeks. I mean, this is a prayer.
A little bit of rushing. There's a little bit of rushing upside with Trubisky.
He's been a one-read and run quarterback. Now, how far he's actually able to run, as Jay and I were laughing at, is the question mark.
You think he's Lamar Jackson? Just like as soon as the first read is coming,
He used to be that what they said back then.
He had over 20 fantasy points last week.
Yes, he did.
Which is honestly a disgrace.
100%.
Needs to be fixed somehow.
So let's see if he can double down.
We need to talk to the founding fathers about this.
Fantasy
I would take
Fantasy.
14 this week. 14 is what I'm looking for. All right, Lawrence, it's back.
Oh,
It's
it's
back to
Jay.
So you mentioned Trubisky and how he can run a little. Well, a man who cannot run a little is Joe Flacco, who is statuesque in the pocket, but hoofs it downfield, as we know.
He does hoof it.
And is piling up the yards. And they seem to trust him somewhat. And he gets a matchup against the Bears defense that is good, but is especially good against the run. So I think they're going to need to be throwing. So give me Joe Flacco.
I like that pick. It was really between Flacco and Reagor for me right there. Because, again, his 2 starts as the Browns for Flacco, 89 pass attempts. They're throwing a ton. And he's not as susceptible to the blitz of the Bears as some other, lesser experienced quarterbacks would be.
Yes.
All right, Lawrence.
So now I feel like I'm in
You
a
get
real
2.
draft. I just got sniped right here because I was going to pick Flacco right there, right? He's thrown it 44 times each game. But I'm gonna go with Bailey Zappi right here. Sure. It's going to be tougher for him this week against the Chiefs, but 19 to 28, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. That's the best Patriots quarterback game I've seen in maybe since like Mac Jones' rookie year. So I'm going to go with Bailey Zappi as my QB2. I'm all AFC East up.
All right. And you got another pick now, Lawrence?
Yeah.
My next pick will be, so they're saying Aiden O'Connor might not start. So do I get Jimmy G?
No. That's not the draft.
Do I get?
His name's not Aiden O'Connell.
I should be able to get Jimmy G because they're playing the Chargers.
I don't know about this.
Technically, he's out there.
Well,
not our
When
league.
you draft Garoppolo.
If
you'd rather Garoppolo, maybe you draft Aiden just like a normal draft.
Yes.
You draft O'Connell and then you hope Garoppolo comes back around. You draft his insurance.
choose.
Right, yeah.
Garoppolo may not start.
I hate you all. I'm taking Aiden O'Connell.
There you go.
All right, Jay.
There you go.
Right back to you.
All right. In a non-Jimmy G world, I am taking Gardner Minshew,
Sure.
which is not overly inspiring. And the matchup against the Pittsburgh defense isn't amazing, but Bailey Zappi can light them up. I think Gardner Minshew can do a little bit of work as well on Saturday.
That's the kind of thing you said to Kira, and it completely screwed over her team. But it is what it is. Our friend Kira.
I said to Kira.
Yeah.
We said to Kira.
We all
Yeah, but
emphatically
running away from the bad
I was busy with my kids. I piled on at the end, like, yeah, Minshew.
Yeah, what Connor and Jay said.
Geno Smith owes us something because we conjured up the greatest game of his career for him by saying that Minshew should start over Geno.
Yes.
All right, guys, I claim the stick man. Easton Stick is mine, finally. I've tried to
daddy.
get him on waivers, couldn't get him. I get him in the superflex draft. The Raiders' bottom 10 pass defense over the last month is what you're hoping for here. I pray Keenan Allen plays.
All right. Well, this is I'm left with Bryce Young.
Wow.
So I've got Bryce Young and Desmond Reagor. Very exciting. The over/under is 35 in this game. So I've got both sides of that. An NFC South matchup on fire. So real quickly, why don't we just recap the teams because we won't have the graphics built. In order of drafting. Lawrence, your team is?
So I got Zach Wilson, Bailey Zappi, and Aiden O'Connell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's going to be tough to beat, but
It is. Did you not see Zach Wilson?
I actually quite like my team, and it's better than my real-life team. Mullins, Flacco, and Minshew.
I like that
That's
team
not
better.
too bad. All right, I got Will Levis, Mitch Trubisky, and Easton Stick. Started out fine.
Yeah, and then
Didn't finish off too hot.
Yeah, I think I like Jay's team the best, actually.
I
Tommy
do too.
DeVito, Desmond Reagor, and Bryce Young.
You got screwed by draft position.
Draft
'cause
position.
Bryce Young's always gonna
Picking
go
fourth
last.
in the.
You got a couple of dudes that'll run the ball though.
Yeah.
Like Tommy DeVito was
running.
really good with his legs.
The pride of New York.
Yeah.
I got Tommy Cutlets. Desmond Reagor, this is a crazy stat, correct me if I'm wrong, someone get in my ear, but I saw this on Twitter, something like, Desmond Reagor has like more 300-yard passing games this year than like Mahomes. Like he's had like, when Ritter is one of these guys that like he's either really good fantasy-wise, like he's been bad all year, but like fantasy-wise, he either puts up a lot of points or he's brutal, but like there's no in-between. Like Ritter's had some truly great fantasy performances, including
There it is, from Kyle Dvorak.
including last week. And here's our own Kyle Dvorak. Desmond Reagor and Gardner Minshew have as many 300-yard games as Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Jalen Hurts this year. Feel old yet? Kyle, I feel old every single day, not just because of your tweet, you young punk.
The problem with Patrick Mahomes and accumulating yards is the mechanic of getting passing yards. I mean, someone needs to catch the ball
That
on
is
the
correct.
outside, and he hasn't been able to get that done.
It also goes to show that just straight passing yards isn't everything, and that's always been the case. You don't have to throw for 4,500 yards to be the best.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.